If you haven't watched the short horror film DeadLine, you should probably check that first. I'll leave a link in the description for you. In this video, I'll touch on my writing process, finding the cast, recording, filming, making the music, and I give you the name of my next short horror film. Alright, with that out the way, welcome to the Lair. Now let's get into some behind the scenes. Alright, so with this film, I wanted to pick a relatable concept. I thought about it for a while, and I was like, a lot of people deal with debt, so let's go with that. When I was writing the script, most of it came out pretty quick. I said it took me about 30 minutes, but the ending, that took me at least a week. I just kept playing around with different ideas until I landed on something that felt cool. Alright, the script was done. Now I needed to find the cast. I needed 3 people, 2 voiceover roles, and 1 person to physically be in it. I felt good about needing some voiceover roles, since that meant I wasn't limited to people who just in my state. For the debt collector, I pitched the idea to Jeremy. We used to make music together a few years back, and this man was down before I could even finish the sentence. He sent over some voice notes pretty quick as a test, and splash, the man got the debt collector role. For the evil being, I put a poll on my Instagram story to see who was interested. After getting a few responses and talking to people, I ended up going with Miles. We met a few years back when he reached out to tell me I was his #1 artist on Spotify Rap. Saying that out loud still feel cool. And just like Jeremy, he sent over some voice notes and got the role. Finally, I needed someone to physically be in the film, and Showcat came through yet again. When it came to recording the voiceovers, something told me I should get those done before recording in person with Showcat. For Jeremy's vocals, he came to the Lair and we went over his lines. At that point, I did not have a name for Showcat's character, but I knew the criteria I wanted. We brainstormed for a bit, and in the end, he pulled up a DMX song, you know, the one where he say a bunch of women names. That helped finalize the decision.
Hello, this is Charles. Am I speaking with Kelly?
That sound like some cool tone. Yeah, that feel like it had good flow.
It felt like an actual person.
Yo, that's the one. It's Kelly.
Right.
Shout out DMX.
It's funny because you got X's all over the face.
Hey, I don't be knowing if it's gonna be a chick or a guy.
Right.
It's a good day when a brainstorming session is fun and filled with good energy. Recording his vocals took us about 20 minutes, and we had a fun time doing that.
Hello, this is Charles. Am I speaking with Kelly?
You sound too serious now.
Okay.
Yo,
Oh, yeah, I do sound.
you don't sound like the chipper salesman.
Hello, this is Charles. Am I speaking with Kelly?
This guy a character. This guy's a character, bro. With Miles' vocals, since he lives in another state, we ran through everything and shared a few laughs over Instagram voice notes.
You've already seen far too much. It's time to repay your debt.
Once we nailed the tone, wording, and pacing, he recorded on his mic and sent them over the next day. With all that done, it was time to shoot. Filming took about 2 hours. For this one, I experimented with more camera movement. Some of it I felt solid about. Other parts, I'll definitely tighten up next time. Editing, that took a few hours, and during that process, I realized I needed more transitional shots. Because I didn't have enough, I ended up reusing some shots way more than I would have liked, which somewhat disrupted the flow of the visual story, but I wasn't tripping. I made it work with what I had and made a note to shoot more in the future. And last but not least, it was time to make some music. Doing it at the end really made me appreciate it so much more. My schedule that week was pretty hectic, so the idea of knocking it all out in one session was no bueno. I worked on a section or 2 at a time. I want to say 3 or 4 different days. I wasn't really counting. Overall, shooting DeadLine was a good learning experience. I tried some new stuff like using voiceovers and not having an evil being physically in the story. Even though I felt uneasy about some parts, I still think it's cool. I get that with these films, I'm gonna make mistakes, and those same mistakes will help me to get better. I'm already looking forward to working on the next one. Right now it's called It's Just a Cup. Big shout out to Showcat, Miles, and Jeremy for their help on this project, and can't forget to thank Danny for some of the behind the scenes shots. If you got any questions or you want me to dive deeper on something next time, let me know in the comments. You stay safe out there. Cash.
I was calling because we noticed you still had a balance.